In the last video I described in depth the problems I have with Germany and why I think Canada is better suited for me. In this video I'm going to explain the steps I had to go through to obtain permanent resident status in Canada. I researched visa options to check my eligibility. I found out about 2 visa programs that fit my needs. IEC International Experience Canada, which is a working holiday visa and has a validity of 1 year. And the Federal Skilled Worker Program of the Express Entry for permanent residency. Next, I told my friends and family and made an action plan with things that need to be done according to the timeline I defined. I tried to apply for both visas because I thought I can go to Canada on the IEC visa while awaiting the permanent resident application to be approved. The application process is all digital and with an online account. The IEC application was straightforward. Besides a police certificate, not so many out-of-the-ordinary documents were needed. The Express Entry application, however, needed more input. I had to provide an IELTS English test result, which was done by the British Council. To get a certificate of this international English language testing system from the British government, a bit of preparation and studying was necessary. The test itself is quite hard, not only from a language perspective, but also from the test format itself. You need to practice multitasking to score high in all parts of the English test. Writing and listening or reading and listening at the same time should not be a problem for you. Well, after some practice I mastered the test format and scored an 8.5 out of 9. This gave me enough points for the comprehensive ranking system. You see, Canada evaluates your human capital, meaning your non-monetary worth to the country. Only candidates that surpass a certain threshold of points are considered for immigration through Express Entry. To receive more points, I had to do a so-called Educational Credential Assessment, in short ECA. To get my university degrees verified, I had to go to my examination office and explain the requirements. I did my evaluation with a company called WES Canada. This means that I could not simply scan my diploma. The university had to reissue a second copy on official paper with an original signature. On top of that, the examination office had to seal the document in an envelope and sign the seal. I was not supposed to send the documents myself. It needed to be done by the examination office to prevent fraud. Those were not requirements of the Canadian government, but requirements of the private company called World Educational Services. My diplomas were the only documents I had to send in actual paper form. All other documents I had to provide for immigration were digital or scans of the German paper-based documents. It took me 1 month to get all documents ready and another 3 months to get my evaluation from WES Canada. At that point I was ready to be a candidate for the Express Entry program. While awaiting to get all documents ready and to be considered for Express Entry draws, I got approval for the IEC visa. This was the cue for me to cancel everything. I cancelled my flat, I cancelled contracts, and I cancelled all the insurances that Germans oh so love. So did I. I sold almost all my belongings on eBay Kleinanzeigen, which is the German version of something like Craigslist or Kijiji. I then moved to a fully furnished room in a shared living community with other students to save money. And then, finally, I told my colleagues, my boss and my boss's boss and handed in my resignation. This was the time when I made my first YouTube video on the topic of leaving Germany. I made travel plans, bookings, reservations and researched areas to live in. In the meantime, I obtained a so-called ITA, an invitation to apply, since I accumulated enough points to be eligible for a point-based economic immigration stream through Express Entry. But this meant I needed to provide more documents to prove that I'm really eligible. I had to get a proof of funds to show that I had enough money to sustain myself while searching for new jobs. This was not so easy since my bank refused to write a letter in English with my average account balances, so I had to get an official translation. The employment reference to prove my work experience was easy to get since my employer didn't have a problem writing English reference letters. I got another police certificate to prove that I have no criminal records, and similar to the IEC visa, I had to provide biometrics, which consist of taking fingerprints in a biometric picture. On top of that, I had to undergo medical examination to prove that I would not be a burden on the Canadian healthcare system. When everything was set and I was about to leave, my plans were suddenly cancelled. global pandemic hit and Canada closed all borders. My flight was cancelled and I had to postpone everything. I tried to get refunds and vouchers for all my bookings. I quickly had to find a place to stay since I was left with no flat, no furniture and no job. Luckily I was able to stay in a friend's room since his flatmate recently moved out. I got my old job back because my old employer had many vacancies anyway and they were happy to keep me for longer. Since then I had to patiently wait for the restrictions to lift. Since there was no way to know how long this would take and whether I should make myself feel comfortable for a longer stay in Germany or not, I lost my motivation to continue with YouTube. My IEC visa lost validity because I was never able to activate it. How did you experience the lockdowns and restrictions? Let me know in the comments. After more than a year, things improved worldwide with the distribution of the vaccines. My motivation came back and I quit my job again. I got my vaccine and I'm ready to move. So this is where I'm at right now. I'm still here waiting in Germany for the Canadian border to reopen and reissue my confirmation of permanent residence, since my confirmation is only valid for up to 1 year. I hope my journey will continue soon and that I will see you in my next video. Until then, please consider subscribing and smash that like button and leave a comment below. You know the drill. See you then.